Ever wonder what it would be like to live in a city where your own 2 feet are all you need to get around? Where cars are an afterthought and the urban landscape unfolds at human pace? While most of us are trapped in car-dependent concrete jungles, there are urban utopias where walking isn't just possible. It's actually the preferred way to experience the city. Did you know that 45 out of the 50 most walkable cities in the world are in Europe? That's right, the old continent dominates when it comes to pedestrian-friendly urban design. But what makes a city truly walkable isn't just about having sidewalks. It's about thoughtful urban planning where everything you need is just a short stroll away. We've ranked these cities based on walking times to key amenities, percentage of residents with essential services within a 15-minute walk, and urban design features like pedestrian zones. So lace up those walking shoes as we count down the 10 most foot-friendly metropolises on the planet. There's 10, Munich, Germany. Munich might be famous for Oktoberfest and luxury cars, but it's the city's medieval street layout that makes it a walker's paradise. While the rest of the world was designing cities around automobiles, Munich preserved its historic pedestrian-scale streets and then doubled down by creating extensive car-free zones. The numbers don't lie. With over 350 pedestrian crosswalks and most roads limited to a leisurely 30 km/h, you're more likely to be struck by the beauty of Bavarian architecture than by a BMW. A remarkable 86% of Munich residents live within just 1 kilometer of car-free zones, effectively making rush hour a foreign concept for many locals. The English Garden, larger than New York's Central Park, offers miles of walking paths, where the only traffic you'll encounter is other pedestrians enjoying the fresh air. And Marienplatz, the heart of the city, connects to a web of walking routes that can take you from historic churches to modern shopping districts without ever needing to check for oncoming traffic. The average Munich resident reaches key amenities in just 7 minutes and 30 seconds on foot, about the same time most of us spend just looking for parking. But if you think that's impressive, wait until you see what our 9th-place city has hidden up its medieval sleeves. Number 9, Lyon, France. While Paris gets all the attention, Lyon quietly offers one of the most unique walking experiences in the world. This city doesn't just have streets, it has secret passageways called traboules that cut through buildings and connect hidden courtyards, creating a pedestrian network that feels like something out of a fantasy novel. Originally built for silk merchants to transport their delicate goods protected from rain, these passageways now serve as shortcuts for locals and discovery paths for visitors. There are over 500 of these traboules throughout the city, though only about 40 are open to the public. Finding them is half the fun. They're often concealed behind unassuming doors that open to reveal architectural wonders within. Beyond these hidden passages, Lyon's compact neighborhoods are perfectly sized for exploration on foot. The city is built around 2 rivers and several hills, creating dramatic landscapes that unfold as you walk. The historic Vieux-Lyon district, with its Renaissance-era streets, offers a walking experience that feels like time travel. With an average walking time of just 7 minutes and 24 seconds to reach essential services, Lyon edges out Munich by a mere 6 seconds. Not much in car terms. But when you're on foot, that's enough time to discover another hidden traboule around the corner. But for all of Lyon's walkable charm, it can't compete with the perfectly preserved Renaissance gem waiting at number 8. Number 8, Florence, Italy. Florence isn't just walkable. It's practically a museum you experience on foot. According to Tourlane's global rankings, this Renaissance masterpiece takes the crown as the world's most walkable city when considering tourist experiences. Every cobblestone and corner seems to reveal another masterpiece or historical landmark. The compact city center means you can walk from Michelangelo's David to Brunelleschi's Dome to the Ponte Vecchio in less time than it takes to find parking in most American cities. Florence's medieval street pattern wasn't designed for cars. It was built for people walking from palazzos to piazzas, and that human scale persists today. What makes Florence especially remarkable is how its walkability enhances the experience of its art and architecture. Standing in front of the Duomo is one thing, but approaching it on foot through gradually narrowing medieval streets that suddenly open to reveal its massive dome. That's the kind of dramatic reveal that only walkable cities can provide. While Florence may be the ultimate pedestrian paradise for tourists seeking Renaissance splendor, it lacks some of the modern urban planning interventions that boost our next contender to number 7. This next city has taken an ancient layout and revolutionized it with 21st century pedestrian innovations. On 7, Milan, Italy. Milan shatters the stereotype that walkable cities must be small or stuck in the past. This fashion and financial powerhouse proves that modernity and pedestrian access can coexist beautifully. While preserving its historic core, Milan has extensively pedestrianized key areas and integrated them with one of Europe's most efficient public transit systems. The city has transformed many of its squares and streets into pedestrian-only zones, including the magnificent Piazza del Duomo. These car-free spaces aren't just tourist attractions. They're functional parts of everyday Milanese life, hosting markets, social gatherings, and serving as extensions of the indoor public realm. Milan's commitment to walkability goes beyond aesthetics. The city has implemented traffic calming measures and expanded sidewalks throughout its central districts, even in areas where cars are permitted. Urban design clearly communicates that pedestrians have priority, something that's immediately apparent when you see business people confidently crossing streets in their impeccable Italian suits without breaking stride. Milan tops global walkability rankings according to recent studies, proving that economic powerhouses don't need to surrender to car culture. But even Milan's impressive pedestrian credentials can't quite match the comprehensive walking infrastructure waiting in our 6th place city, where walking is just one part of a revolutionary approach to urban mobility. Want to discover more fascinating cities that are changing how we think about urban living? Subscribe now and hit that notification bell. Our upcoming series on Cities of Tomorrow will explore how urban centers around the world are solving transportation, housing, and environmental challenges in surprisingly innovative ways. Don't miss a single episode. Your next travel destination might be waiting in our next video. 6. Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen might be world famous for its bicycle culture, but its pedestrian infrastructure deserves just as much attention. This Scandinavian capital has transformed itself into a walker's paradise through decades of determined urban planning that prioritizes people over vehicles. With over 380 kilometers of pedestrianized streets and paths, Copenhagen offers an interconnected network that makes walking both practical and pleasurable. The city's crown jewel for pedestrians is Strøget, one of Europe's longest pedestrian shopping streets. But the walking experience extends far beyond this famous thoroughfare. Copenhagen's waterfront transformation deserves special mention. Areas that were once industrial zones or parking lots have been reclaimed as pedestrian promenades, connecting the city to its harbor and creating breathtaking walking routes along the water. The city has also mastered the integration of green spaces into the urban fabric, ensuring that walkers are never far from a park or garden where they can rest. What sets Copenhagen apart is how walking has been elevated from mere transportation to a celebrated way of experiencing the city. The Danish concept of hygge, that untranslatable sense of coziness and contentment, is perfectly embodied in Copenhagen's walkable streetscapes, designed at human scale and filled with delightful details that can only be appreciated on foot. While Copenhagen shows what's possible when modern urban planning prioritizes pedestrians, our next city proves that sometimes the best walking cities are those that never adapted to cars in the first place. Number 5, Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam's walkability isn't just a happy accident. It's the product of a centuries-old design that happened to be perfect for the pedestrian age. The city's famous Canal Ring, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, creates an intimate scale that naturally limits vehicle traffic and encourages exploration on foot. The narrow streets and bridges of Amsterdam's historic center were never suitable for heavy car traffic, and rather than force-fitting modern vehicles into this ancient layout, the city has progressively limited automobile access. Today, large sections of central Amsterdam are effectively car-free, creating a pedestrian environment that feels both historic and revolutionary. Amsterdam's walkability is enhanced by its density and mix of uses. Within a typical 15-minute walk, residents can reach groceries, schools, work, entertainment, and cultural attractions. According to the European Urban Mobility Report, an impressive 85% of central Amsterdam residents live within this 15-minute walkshed of essential amenities. The city's famous public squares, from Dam Square to Museum Plein, serve as pedestrian hubs connecting walking routes throughout the city. And while Amsterdam is rightfully celebrated for its bicycle culture, walking remains the most intimate way to experience its unique architecture and water-laced urban fabric. Amsterdam proves that walkability isn't just about sidewalks. It's about creating an environment where walking is the most logical, enjoyable way to get around. But even Amsterdam's pedestrian credentials pale in comparison to the ambitious transformation undertaken by our fourth-place city. That's before Paris, France. Paris hasn't always been the pedestrian paradise we know today. In fact, the city once embraced car culture with the same enthusiasm as American cities, until its leaders recognized that the City of Light was being dimmed by traffic and pollution. The transformation since then has been nothing short of revolutionary. Mayor Anne Hidalgo's 15-minute city vision has dramatically expanded car-free zones throughout Paris, reclaiming space for pedestrians along the Seine and even parts of the iconic Champs-Élysées. Wide sidewalks, those quintessentially Parisian spaces, where cafe tables spill out and flaneurs stroll, have been expanded and protected. Today, according to CityLab data, over 70% of central Paris residents can access all essential services on foot within 15 minutes. The city's compact arrondissements, each with its own distinct character, create neighborhoods that are perfectly sized for walking exploration, large enough to offer variety, small enough to traverse easily on foot. Paris also benefits from pedestrian infrastructure that's not just functional, but beautiful. The city's numerous footbridges across the Seine turn necessary river crossings into memorable experiences. And the historic passages, couverts, glass-roofed shopping arcades from the 19th century offer weatherproof walking routes that double as architectural treasures. Paris has proven that even cities initially redesigned for cars can reclaim their pedestrian soul with bold leadership and vision. But for all of Paris's pedestrian improvements, it can't match the car-free purity of our next contender, a city where automobiles aren't just discouraged, but literally impossible. Number 3, Venice, Italy. Venice isn't just walkable, it's exclusively walkable. This floating city represents the purest pedestrian experience in the world, with water replacing roads and 400-plus footbridges connecting a labyrinth of car-free islands. Here, the very concept of traffic takes on a different meaning. The only congestion you'll encounter is other pedestrians stopping to photograph yet another breathtaking canal view. The absence of vehicles creates an urban experience unlike any other, without the noise, danger, and space requirements of cars. Venice developed a human-scaled intimacy that modern cities can only dream of replicating. The narrow calle streets sometimes barely allow 2 people to pass, yet somehow accommodate the flow of daily life and commerce. Venice's pedestrian network is wonderfully disorienting. Getting lost is part of the experience. Unlike grid-pattern cities designed for navigational efficiency, Venice evolved organically over centuries, creating a walking environment that rewards exploration and discovery. Turn a corner and you might find a hidden courtyard, a tiny restaurant, or a workshop where artisans practice centuries-old crafts. The 100% pedestrian access throughout the city creates a unique acoustic environment too, instead of traffic noise. You hear conversations, footsteps on stone, water lapping against buildings, and church bells marking the hours. It's a sensory experience that reminds us what urban life sounded like before the combustion engine. Venice represents the ultimate car-free urban ideal, but it's also a special case of city, preserved in amber rather than adapted to modern life. Our next contestant, however, proves that walkability can thrive even in a thoroughly modern Asian metropolis. Number 2, Kyoto, Japan. In a ranking dominated by European cities, Kyoto stands out as the most walkable non-European metropolis in the world. This former imperial capital combines density, design, and cultural heritage to create an extraordinary pedestrian experience with a distinctly Japanese character. Kyoto's walkability stems from its traditional Machiya townhouse neighborhoods, where narrow streets and close-packed buildings create intimate urban spaces perfect for exploration on foot. The historic district of Gion, famous for geisha sightings, exemplifies this pedestrian-scale development with its wooden facades and stone-paved alleys. Unlike many modern cities where districts are segregated by function, Kyoto maintains the traditional Japanese urban pattern of mixed-uses temples, next to shops, next to homes, next to restaurants, ensuring that essential services are always within walking distance. This integration creates walking environments that remain lively throughout the day. Kyoto also excels at connecting urban walking experiences with nature. The famous Philosopher's Path along a canal lined with cherry trees offers a contemplative walking route that feels removed from city life despite being fully integrated into the urban fabric. Similarly, the bamboo groves of Arashiyama provide walker-friendly natural experiences within the city limits. Ranked 28th globally but top among non-European cities according to recent studies, Kyoto proves that walkability isn't just a Western concept. It's a universal urban value that can thrive in diverse cultural contexts. But even Kyoto's impressive pedestrian credentials can't match the revolutionary approach of our top-ranked walkable city, Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona doesn't just top our list, it's revolutionizing the very concept of urban walkability. This Catalan capital has transformed itself into the world's most pedestrian-friendly metropolis through a combination of historic preservation, innovative urban planning, and the revolutionary superblock program that's being studied and copied worldwide. The city's famous superblocks, superills, reclaim street space from cars by transforming 9-block sections of the grid into pedestrian priority zones. Traffic is redirected to perimeter roads, while interior streets become places for walking, play, and community life. What were once thoroughfares are now plazas where children play and neighbors socialize, all without relocating a single building. Barcelona's walkability doesn't only rely on modern innovations. The city's historic Gothic quarter offers a medieval street pattern where narrow, winding pedestrian paths reveal surprising plazas and architectural treasures. Meanwhile, the famous La Rambla provides one of the world's great walking boulevards, a tree-lined pedestrian thoroughfare that pulses with city life. The genius of Barcelona's approach is how it enhances walkability at every scale. The famous Eixample district, with its octagonal city blocks and chamfered corners, creates more pedestrian space at intersections and improves visibility. Within these blocks, interior courtyards provide quiet pedestrian oases away from busier streets. Barcelona proves that walkability isn't just about banning cars or preserving historic streets. It's about continuously reimagining how urban space can better serve people on foot. The city's approach combines respect for its walkable heritage with bold experimentation, creating a pedestrian experience that's simultaneously historic and cutting-edge. Urban mobility studies recognize Barcelona as the most pedestrian-friendly major city worldwide, and walking its streets makes it easy to understand why. Here, walkability isn't an amenity or afterthought. It's the organizing principle that shapes the entire urban experience. The road ahead. As we've seen, the world's most walkable cities aren't just easier to navigate, they're often healthier, more sustainable, and more enjoyable places to live. From medieval street patterns preserved in Florence and Venice to revolutionary superblocks in Barcelona, these pedestrian paradises offer valuable lessons for cities worldwide. The walkable city isn't just a relic of the past or a tourist attraction. It's a model for urban development that prioritizes human experience over vehicular efficiency. As climate concerns grow and quality of life becomes central to urban competitiveness, the ability to navigate a city comfortably on foot has emerged as a crucial measure of urban success. Which of these walkable wonders surprised you most? Are there pedestrian-friendly cities you think should have made our list? Remember to subscribe to explore more fascinating urban phenomena from around the globe. Our next episodes will uncover more hidden dimensions of the world's most extraordinary cities, and you won't want to miss a single step.